If I'm being honest, Resident Evil hasn't been good since Code Veronica. For me, even Resident Evil 4 strayed too far from the survival horror roots that the series itself helped create. So even though I've played every entry from the numbered series to Revelations, it's been years since Resident Evil instilled me with the fear that the original titles once crippled me with so often. Enter Resident Evil 7. The first-person perspective might throw you, make you think that you're in for some brand new reboot of the series. But the further into the game you get, the more familiar this game feels. Story-wise, it's removed from the messy, convoluted Resident Evil lore that plagued the last few games. By setting it in the same world, but dropping the pin in a remote, isolated area, we're able to ignore that pesky, overarching narrative and focus on just a few individuals and how this madness is affecting them. It was a brilliant move by Capcom, but it should have happened years ago. Also familiar to Resident Evil fans will be item boxes, simple puzzles, and inventory management. It's also familiar. In fact, this whole game feels like Resident Evil 1 from a new perspective. But let's just jump ahead and get right to the important part of this review. My final game clock read 14 hours, 9 minutes. And I spent all of that time playing in virtual reality. Until now, PlayStation VR didn't have its killer app. Although some games were impressive, none immersed me or addicted me to their world the way Resident Evil 7 has. Every new hallway, every new room, found me cowering in fear of the unknown. Jump scares are everywhere, and all of them took me by surprise. It's single-handedly the scariest thing I've ever done in my life, and no amount of reminding myself it's only a game could actually convince me that it was. This is the longest, most horrific scary movie you've ever been to. This is the best acted, most convincing haunted house you've ever visited. Every noise and every shadow will have you second-guessing your next step. Things aren't perfect, of course. Load times when you die can seem endless. Some boss fights are frustrating, and backtracking through various parts of the house can get tedious. And worse than anything, once you've tried it in VR, nothing else will compare. Playing on a flat screen just won't do it. Simply put, playing in VR is the only way to experience Resident Evil 7 properly. Two hours in, I was already declaring Resident Evil 7 VR to be one of the greatest gaming experiences of my life. 14 hours in, it joined the ranks of Super Mario World and Fallout 3 as one of my favorite games of all time. I don't finish games often. I usually lose interest or move on to something else, something newer, shinier. But with Resident Evil 7, I wasn't ready for it to end. And when it did, I couldn't wait to jump back in with my new weapons and play on the new Madhouse difficulty. With so much replayability and tons of DLC incoming, this is a game I'll be coming back to time and time again. If you're a PlayStation VR owner, buy this one without hesitation.